I'm your host, Lise Eisenberger, and I'm joined alongside Andy Cerrito and Charlie Scott. Moments ago, the Wreckers beat the Ridgefield Tigers 42-3, and now the team is here in the studio with us for interviews and more. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Man, I got this
Welcome back to the studios of 70 North Ave. This is the Cleanup Crew. I'm Charlie Scott, and joined alongside me here today are two of the stars and captains of the Staples football squad. To my left, of course, Caleb Smith, all-state top 26, over 3,300 rushing yards. And to my right, Sam Petrosino, all FCIAC West for defense and the starting wide receiver for these Staples Wreckers. Caleb, I'm going to start with you. Today, with the first touchdown of the game, you threw a touchdown pass to your brother. How does that feel?
I mean, it was amazing. I was just excited to get that ball out. He ran the route really well, so I just had to put the ball in the right spot. He did the rest.
Awesome. And I know that when you guys scrimmage, you guys have your starters team, and then you also have your scout team. And that scout team is kind of the up-and-coming players, maybe some of those bench players. Who is the hardest opponent that you face on that scout team?
I mean, we pride ourselves in getting our best players that are against a really good defense the whole time.
Nice. And Sam, you're probably one of the most hardworking players in the FCIAC, maybe even the state. But the key to that is you're on both sides of the ball. So which do you prefer, slicing through the offense or making that big stop today like you did with your interception?
I really don't have a preference. I enjoy playing football, so anyway I'm on the field, it's a lot of fun.
It's an awesome answer. Now, another question relating to you being on both sides of the ball. How do you practice for both? How does that work? One day defense, one day offense? How does that work?
No, we have a really good practice plan with our coaches where first half, full practice, just getting offense, defense, and it helps out.
Awesome. Another practice question for you, Caleb. Quarterbacks have to see the whole field, almost a 180-degree vision. How do you train your eyes and your brain and your body to be able to see all the options?
I mean, you take a lot of reps, and I think another thing is mental reps, what I'm going to be able to do on the field.
Nice. And this is a question for the both of you guys. You guys have been playing football since you guys were in 4th grade together. What's your favorite football memory that you two have shared?
I mean, for me, it has to be that connection. We had 2 of them last year against Greenwich, 2 touchdowns. That was great to have him in there. He didn't really play much receiver, but we knew that he was trustworthy out there receiver, threw him 2 touchdowns. So
I would definitely say last year's Greenwich game was my favorite memory with Caleb.
Yeah, being on the field, got the privilege to film that, and it was an awesome environment. And another question for the both of you. If you guys were able to sit down and have breakfast or lunch with an NFL player and you were able to pick their brain on the game, who would you choose and why?
I would have to go with Brian Dawkins just because how hard he hits. And
one of the greatest leaders ever in the NFL, so I think he's the best to ever do it. So yeah.
It's a great choice. And all right, guys, I got one last question for you both. This is a Cleanup Crew classic. We ask it to each and every one of our guests. So who on the team would you not let date your daughter?
I mean, I know my answer. It's Aiden Parnes. Flat and simple. Aiden Parnes not going near my daughter.
I'd have to agree with Parnes.
Yeah. Well, guess what, boys? Aiden Parnes is coming up on the next segment. He'll be interviewed with Andy Cerrito alongside Tanner. Thank you, boys, for coming on. We're going to send it to that right now after a quick break.
Welcome back to the final segment of Cleanup Crew. And of course, we saved the best for last, Coach Matty. Coach Matty, it's always a pleasure to have you. So we have some questions for you today.
Guys like Caleb Smith and Sam Petrosino and Aiden Parnes and Tyler Clark and say, I want to do it the way that guy did it. And I think it gives our kids today something to look towards and for. And the guys in the past were able to say, you know what, you sacrifice a lot for our program, and it's why it means something when you have an S on your helmet and it says Wreckers across your chest.
Wow, that was inspiring. I feel inspired after that. That was awesome. But, Coach, my question for you is, I know you're also an assistant coach for the Staples lacrosse program as well, and they've been massively successful recently, nationally ranked the past few years, and, of course, the back-to-back state championship title. So my question for you is, does that winning culture from lacrosse transfer into the football program?
It's not about the sport, and it's not about the technique, and it's not about the scheme. It's about the person. And we have the people, right? That's one of our catchphrases. We got the guys. And I firmly believe this. Listen, in lacrosse, we played Fairfield Prep in the state championship. Fairfield Prep was better at lacrosse than we were. We had competitors, and we had winners, and we were never going to lose that game. 2 years ago against Darien, they were a better lacrosse team. We had winners. We had competitors. our guys were never going to lose that game. So, I took accountability for that game week 1 against West Haven because I put way too much emphasis on us running these amazing, unbelievable routes and this technique and the scheme was going to be perfect. When at the end of the day, you're lined up against another human being and it's going to be a battle of wills. And for him to go right back in there and have that interception and have a big catch and make these big blocks for guess what? It's not going to be Sammy Petrosino's name that's said over the loudspeaker or said in the newspaper, but we know internally the reason why we scored those touchdowns. That's what it's about. And I messed up because I made it about something else week 1, and that's the reason why we lost the football game. We're not losing football games anymore like that. If we go out, we're going to go out swinging. And we're going to go out the more physical team, the team that cares about each other, the team that's willing to block harder, the team that's pursuing to the football, the team that does things right. And we were that team today. That's why the score was the score.
Have you had media training? I mean, this is incredible.
No, in all seriousness, listen, I'll tell you this. We put a lot of work into this, and I went to Northeastern. I got a business degree. I chose to come back here because I really felt like it was my calling to coach and lead, and it stinks to lose a football game the way that we lost it, and everyone to a man probably has that, did I make the right choice? Are we doing the right things? So to be able to kind of meditate and reflect on why that happened and think about solutions and talk. We're all making sacrifices for this. When you see that result out there, and I know how hard Sammy Petrosino worked, and you're right, he is the hardest working player in the state. So I know how hard he worked, and for him to get that result, it's meaningful. And I ain't going to go to sleep tonight for a while, right? I already told him I'm going to try to find ice cream somewhere, gas station, Tonight Dough. Or what are they? The Ben and Jerry's? Yeah. But that's honestly at the end of the day, that's what it is. We're all doing this. We're all making sacrifices to see the result be what the result was, and it was exactly what we said it should be. It goes a long way.
You should be a coach.
From the heart. Yeah. Coach, I got one more question for you. This one's a little more lighthearted, but I've heard a little rumor about something called a DB breakfast. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah. So 3 picks or more. And the DBs, and I look at Sammy because we had 1 pick, we had a couple pass breakups.